Join Dalton and Jacob as they discuss the ever-changing world of trading card games. TCG Buzz starts now.
What's up, Buzz Squad? It's your boy Dalton, back at it again with the ginger on the other table.
I need to have like 6 hands for all these buttons.
Or you just make more shortcuts.
Yeah, we should do that.
Also, by we, you mean me. I see.
By we, I mean the person whose title card is appearing on screen.
I already said that. Good job, Captain. So what are we doing today? We're
going to have a nice, chill, laid-back live stream today. Not freaking out over giant meta changes to Buddy Fight or prioritizing some like dead card games and saying, oh, this card game's too good. We're just going to be chilling out and answering your guys' questions submitted primarily to us on our Discord server. You can ask us more questions there if you'd like after you've seen this.
Or in the chat.
Or we will be taking some questions from the chat if you guys think of something as we're talking. I'll try to get to as many of those as I can, but I'm reading questions, I'm managing this, and I'm going to be interacting with you guys in chat, so bear with me a little.
I got to do the least amount of work. That's how it works. I do everything else behind the scenes. He does everything on screen.
Dalton does all the editing for the channel, so you can blame him if it's ever terrible.
It's all because of Jacob's influence.
So first thing I'd like to say is shout out to Buddy Fight Ace of Spades for complimenting us on our awesome intro music. Best thing.
Best thing? Is that a question or
no?
What?
No, just a statement. Just a fact of life. So Dalton's gonna stall.
I'm gonna stall. You don't have them pulled up. Jesus. Why do you not have them pulled up? You were supposed to be prepared, man. What's wrong with you?
I just have to do a lot of scrolling up because there are a lot of them.
Oh, that's your excuse, huh? Should have made a document.
I was lazy.
I noticed. So, how's everyone doing today? It's a little bit later of a live stream.
He starts actually stalling for me when I have it finished. Thanks, man.
Hey, you're welcome.
All right, so I'm going to just start off reading questions in whatever order I feel like. So our first question from our Discord is, what is your favorite Dragon Force? That's a Buddy Fight question.
We're going to use that one.
Yep, we're starting there, and I'm just going down. Just like this live stream, it's going downhill
favorite
fast.
Dragon Force. I have none. I don't care for the Dragon Forces.
Probably for uniqueness, I'd say. What's it called? The Good Star Dragon World one. The one that nullifies things. Yeah, it's probably the best of the bunch. I will give credit to the what is it? Dragon Force XD or whatever, the most recent one, the like Tri-World one. That card's really fun. Yeah, I don't know very much about all the Dragon World ones because it seems like there are tons of them that I just can never remember.
Well, you have the original Dragon Force one. There's the Straight Punch one, which is a promo. You had the upgraded version, which I don't remember its full name. It was like Dragon Force Bravery or something like that. We'll go with that. It wasn't that, but we'll go with that. And there might have been one more from the, what is it? Was it a double deck?
Triple.
Was it?
The golden box.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
a lot.
The promo box top. Were those ones box toppers? The foiled?
Yeah. Ones? They were box toppers for the first Climax booster.
There's only one Climax booster in Triple D, my friend.
Well, I meant overall. Anyways, I've got another question. This one's from our chat right now. This is nice, easy one. Do you think Raging Spirits and Wild Dragons can compete with the new meta? From Malik Lewis. Hope I pronounced that right. I'll answer first. No.
Raging Spirits will never compete. It's that simple. they had their time, and Bushi shanked them, stabbed them in the back, threw them to the side. Wild Dragons, there's potential, but I don't see it right now unless they get a random support card or two in Ace, but it's Ace. They're trying to do very little legacy. What's the next question, sir? Or do I need to stall again?
I'm going to skip around to a bunch of different ones. This one's from our good friend Vulcan. Should Buddy Fight raise the initial life total for all flags?
What do you think?
Gut instinct is no. Although I've thought about this before, several times over the years, and I think the retcon of it would be just a little too complicated for the game. I mean, we struggle with people keeping track of erratas already. I like the concept because, games should be slowed down a little bit, and, people don't want it to be done via absurd life gain cards or whatnot. But I also think there are too many asterisks you'd have to add on. First of all, if the base life total was increased, you'd have to, write special new rules for every special flag in the game, right? It would get kind of messy, I think.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to get it back on to me. I gotta agree with you there. It's gonna be messy for Bushi to try to fix everything if they do decide to, even though they probably never will. But it wouldn't be bad to test out, maybe special rules sometime, Maybe start off 15 life and then we can scale up everything else by 5 life, basic stuff. I'm hinting at more content, bro.
Maybe
what you're supposed to do.
Maybe what they do is they give all monsters an ability that just says they have a symbol on them that says if this card's in your buddy zone at the beginning of the game, gain X life, whatever it is.
Maybe.
I'm going to kill two birds with one stone with the next question because both Vulcan and our good friend Brandon Aramis have asked this question of us. Brandon in chat. Thoughts on Buddy Block still not having an English printing?
What the heck, Bushi? Come on, man.
I mean, to be fair, we're no strangers to really good promo cards not seeing the light of day for forever. In fact, I'm surprised we got Obstruct as fast as we did. You want to look at Supreme Assault, look at the Ninja promo cards that we got right around the same time. One was in Driven to Disorder. The other was the promo for attending regionals. And one of the two, I don't remember which, took 3 years to get here.
I think it was the regional one.
Yeah. Buddy Block is an amazing card. I do think it's not as big of a deal that we don't have it because we still have Loyalty and Obstruct, which still help with disruption as far as generic cards go. But there is definitely a Buddy Block shaped hole in the meta right now that needs to be filled. I don't see them filling it so soon yet, though. Mostly because it hurts certain decks. It definitely hurts Gargantua Dragons, which I think they're trying to avoid.
Well, you got to stop all the OTKs. There's too much OTK going on right now. Because, I don't know, I feel like Ace was supposed to be more of this slowed down in a sense of, we're going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're not going to OTK you turn 1 or first turn OTK you 2 golems. So I don't know. I feel like they might want to get on that one. I kind of want to put it in some decks, if you know what I'm saying. And now it's time for Dalton to stall as Jacob looks for more questions.
We're also being asked in chat about just promos in general, and how we feel about really good cards in Buddy Fight being locked away as promos. So my opinion is shop tournament promos I'm okay with because they tend to be readily available and easy to get. Even for people who don't have locals, you can buy play sets of them very easily for like $2-3 unless they're particularly crazy cards. Box toppers are a little more worse. They can be a real struggle to get sometimes. I mean, my first playset of Fake Out was really annoying to get it. So really big staple cards like that, I kind of don't like to see as box toppers.
Tell me about it.
What about regional promos? I think those are fine.
Well, regional promos tend to be like weaker cards anyway.
Yeah, I can't think of any particular case where the regional promo was super amazing.
The Ninja was the only one that
that's probably the best.
But then again, that one was postponed for so long that it kind of became irrelevant at the time. They never seemed to be like, oh, I got to get this just to throw it into my deck right now and right here to play for regionals. So it's kind of hard. Box toppers, I never cared too much about box toppers. Never had a problem until Gargantua Awaken came out, and still looking for my second copy of a certain box topper.
The other problem with box toppers in particular is they tend to get really hard to find after that set's out of print. So if they don't get a reprint, you're kind of boned. And there are some promos that were box toppers that are now ridiculously hard to find. Tried to find that Crimson Drum from Neo Enforcer as a box topper. Try it.
Don't get me started. I need that card for my Crimson deck. But I need a lot of cards for that deck to make it good.
We're also being asked in chat what cards we hope to, what decks we want to see get legacy support in Buddy Lineage. And I think we might hold off on answering that and do a separate video on it.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. All right, so we're going to hold off on that one. Sorry about that. Make sure you're subscribed to see us talk about that soon.
Yeah, I think we'll do a special live stream for that one. How about that?
Yeah. Maybe a bonus live stream this week?
Don't tell them that yet.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a surprise.
So our good friend Roxas, whenever we do these, loves to give me a good book of answers. So we're going to start working through questions.
Woo!
You know all the answers. It is the questions you do not know. So I'm going to just start working through those right now because there's a lot to get through. I'm going to cover a few of them now in one.
Lightning round. Got it.
Yep. First question. Anyone who plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Salomon Great is a good archetype and it's cheap. Should I build them? I have no idea what that is.
They seem all right, but I don't know if they're going to necessarily be that strong in the current meta for Yu-Gi-Oh! If anything, go with good old reliable Blue Eyes. It's still good enough rogue deck, and I say it's relatively cheap.
See, I still casually follow Yu-Gi-Oh! But I don't follow spoilers for Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff that hasn't come out yet. Question number 2. We're in lightning round. How do I sell a buddy fight deck?
North American buddy fight group.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Also,
with time card.
Yeah, you make sure you have a time card on your post. You can also use Buddy Spoiler has their own Facebook buy and sell group as well. I've used both in the past to good success. Know what you're doing. Make sure to have good protection for the cards you're shipping. That's my advice. And
if you go to a lot of regionals, see if one of the local shops there can maybe buy it off of you. That's an option. Next question. Come on, this is lightning round.
Oh, yeah, lightning round. Top 5 games to buy for the Switch. This one's addressed to me, but we should both answer it. And
I got to think a little bit more.
Smash. No. Smash. The World Ends With You, big one on my list. Metroid Prime 4 when it comes out someday. What was the other one I'm really excited for? Animal Crossing. That's going to be super hype. Probably my most looked forward game after Smash. And that new mech game they're doing. I forget the name of it, but it looks really, really cool. I want it.
Dragon Quest XI, Dragon Quest Builders, Rocket League. Should always have Rocket League. Oh geez, I just had the other two. Smash, because it's Nintendo, and what was the other one? I'll give you 4. How about that?
That's pretty good. We're being asked in chat, does Buddy Fight need more control decks?
Yes. Better yet, they need to improve on Plague instead of what they did to it. It's got me salty, man.
I think it's interesting because very much control did not exist in Buddy Fight X. Like the best you could get is water or prisms. And prisms I'd define more as defensive and
minis.
Come on, man. You just threw something at me. How rude. That's
you die.
The worst part is that is not the first time today Dalton's thrown something at me.
That's not true. What was the other thing I threw at you?
I don't remember.
So therefore,
it was during an. Never mind. Whereas this season we've gotten a lot more disruption, not control, but disruption. From decks like Godpunks, obviously, Drag Metal, another big disruption deck. But disruption almost is control, but it's really not.
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it, because Godpunks, it controls resource gain. Draw Metals control board presence. If you want to look at it like that, instead of considering them just disruption. But, to each their own, I guess. Do you need me to stall, or are we still in lightning round and you're just really bad at lightning round? Yes? Just yes. That's all you have to say. So back to my question before. How's everyone doing today? Even though Jacob can see all of that and I
made a boo-boo. Sorry. I somehow accidentally muted someone in chat.
Why'd you do that?
It wasn't on purpose. I fixed it, though. So we'll move on to the next question. Did Konami troll you guys to not make any more Yu-Gi-Oh content? What's the story behind us not doing Yu-Gi-Oh stuff?
Not enough blue eyes. Even though I do plan on potentially maybe getting a box of Legendary Duelist. Oh God, what's the name of the set? The new Blue Eyes set that's out right now. Come on, Jacob, you might know this.
No.
Okay, we tried.
The new Blue Eyes set, that's all you need. I don't play physical Yu-Gi-Oh and haven't in a long time. It's kind of honestly a challenge for me just because card text is really hard for me to read. But I played Duel Links for a while, and you guys saw I did do some Duel Links content on the channel. But to be frank, Duel Links
is now cancer.
Is awful now. Absolutely the worst thing Konami's ever did, and I'm saying that as a Metal Gear Solid fan and a Castlevania fan and a Silent Hill fan. Duel Links is the worst thing Konami's ever done.
Remember when he used to say it was the best thing they ever did, and then they royally screwed it up?
Well, it was fun, but yikes.
Fair enough, fair enough. Are we still in lightning round? Or?
Sure, we'll do two more lightning rounds ones really quick. How big is your sponsor, Frost Giant Games? And in regard to Buddy Fight community in your area, and do you think they plan on expanding to become an online seller for Buddy Fight stuff? For a local area, there's no competition. There is competition. There's another store that we used to go to as our locals until Frost Giant became our locals. And when it comes to Buddy Fight, pretty much everything moves through Frost Giant, and the only time we go and buy stuff at the other store is on very rare occasions, like if Frost Giant's sold out of a particular thing we need.
Like Miko and Mel. And I do know they're trying to get onto the online scene for Buddy Fight, so we haven't kept up on that part. We might have to check in on that and give you a better answer on the whole online Buddy Fight.
Continuing lightning round, you attempt to do a live stream every week. What are some obstacles from having live streams more times a week?
Um, as of right now, I don't see the problem with having more, except for the weekend, since the place that we actually record is actually closed. So, kind of hard to do it on the weekends. And it just kind of depends on, like, is it just going to end up being rambling on and on and on, or is it actually going to be good live streams? You know, we want to make sure we're putting out decent. You know, I would say like star quality, but let's be real, this is TCG Buzz.
Another thing, we have done multiple live streams in a week in the past, but that's usually when there's a lot to talk about, usually big news stories. Once we did 3 in one day. That was fun.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was tough. When you're trying to do multiple in a day, that's when it gets tough.
Yeah, and I like to do multiple in a week, but usually there has to be a reason for it, because otherwise I'd like to spread the content out so there's more evenness to it, and we fill in the rest of the week with other forms of content, like deck profiles and matches and dead card games and whatever else we randomly think of.
At least attempt to.
Mm-hmm. We try to keep it consistent on what day of the week we do our usual live stream, and for a while we got out of doing surprise extra ones, but they are coming back. We just talked earlier about doing a second one this week, so that's pretty cool. Final thoughts on that question?
Final thoughts? And we got to manage a few other channels besides TCG Buzz, so, you know, we got to make sure we can balance our workload between everything, you know?
Next question is related. Thoughts on doing live buddy fights?
Live buddy fights? Well, technically it had been planned for the queue, but it's just really hard to get 2 extra people in here as of the moment. So hopefully we can get the full cube demonstration out someday. And doing just general live ones. We've talked about doing like a live area thing and so on and so forth, but I think we just got more lazy on that end of it. So I think it's very easy for us to do. We just have to not get sidetracked by something else. Or if
there are a lot of things that sidetrack us. You will not believe the amount of content we have ideas to do that we end up not being able to do just because there's so many hours in a day. And sometimes things get pushed off to the side and revisited. I know we've got a question somewhere asking about doing more fan archetype stuff, and that's definitely on our radar. But we put that aside to focus on other things and get some variety, and for the reason that we wanted to take a break from it and kind of replenish the reserves,
Right. You want to make sure you're always fresh. You don't want to be stale. You want to be that fresh bag of Cheetos. You don't want to be that, 3-month-old bag of Cheetos, Nobody ever likes that.
You can crush them up and probably use them as a flavoring for something.
That's just nasty, man.
Like prison food, you get some ramen noodles and put flaming hot Cheetos in them.
Then you just use hot sauce.
What if you don't have hot sauce? Why are we talking about this?
I don't know.
Next question. What do you think of Link Dragon Order Anthem Link Order?
Huh?
The card Link Dragon Order Anthem. I don't remember what card that is. Dalton's pulling up. We'll come back to that question. I'm going to look through, pick another question, and we'll come back to that in just a moment. Dalton and I are both looking at things right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Question from Roxas's long list. Crossover with insert my favorite YouTuber here. Yeah, we're actually working right now on that crossover with Logan and Jake Paul. So stay tuned for that. That'll be tomorrow. Dalton's going to be freestyling in one of their...
You check me out on their freestyles, man. I'm going to be on their next big album.
We're also doing stuff with, what's his name? The Fortnite guy, Ninja.
Yes. We're going to introduce him to Buddy Fight, and then he's going to show us how to be good Fortnite players.
And then next week, we've got a planned video scheduled with Justin Bieber Vivo.
No, you don't. Stop lying.
Yeah, that one was a little too far. Yeah. So here's a fun one for both of us. Do hybrid card games count as games that can be featured on TCG Buzz, like Monsuno or Bakugan?
I say yes, but that depends on Jacob and how he feels.
I say 100% yes. I mean, first of all, we have done one video of Bakugan content randomly before, and there's something I want to do in our Dead card game series, because I do consider them card games even if they have extras. But I don't have anything really for them anymore. I used to have an actual giant, like, hundreds of Bakugan and thousands of the cards and stuff. But like 2-3 years ago, like right before we started TCG Buzz, I sold all of it and made a good chunk of change off of it. But now I'm kind of regretting it because now I have nothing to show off years later.
Hi.
You pull up that card yet?
Nope.
Next question. Just going to keep lightning rounding, stalling for Dalton. You play a lot of games on your channel, Gaming Buzz. Yeah, check out Gaming Buzz if you've never done so. It's our one of our other channels where we play video games.
Check out the Gaming Buzz Versus playlist, you know.
Dalton and I compete head-to-head in random video games that...
Well, the last few we have, we wanted to make it more competitive and so forth.
So finishing the actual question. So what are all your favorite Final Fantasy games? Have you ever played a Final Fantasy game, Dalton?
I played a demo because it came with Dragon Quest VIII.
Good.
Never cared for it.
So top 3 in this order. Final Fantasy 12, Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7, and third place it will be the Dissidia Final Fantasy on PSP. I've never played the new one on PS4 yet, so.
And now Anthem, huh?
Hey, you found it?
I just couldn't remember what it was. That's the problem. We need better size 3s. That's all I'm going to say. Do you want me to tell you what it does?
Sure.
Drop the top 5 cards of your deck. For each card with D-share among them, put the top card of your deck into the gauge. You may only cast this once per turn. I see it being more for a size 3 variant of the deck, and I need more size 3 Agitos or more size 3 options. Because right now the deck's more size 1 based, and they don't really care too much about the gauge, so it's for now.
Right now the chat is just nostalgia for Bakugan, so I think that might be something we have to look into more.
I told you not to sell them.
Yeah.
I told you.
Check out the one video I did on Bakugan where I opened a pack of Bakugan cards. Not any of the actual toys, just the cards that I found at like a thrift store for, I don't know, $2? Something like that. It wasn't
the
that
video.
long
It tells
ago.
you the price, I'm pretty sure. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need more magical girls in Buddy Fight?
No.
Thank you. I mean, it doesn't hurt, doesn't help, in my opinion.
I honestly,
as long as they don't overdo it. I think one deck per season is fine, and we got one this season already. So
technically we got 2, didn't we?
I don't know.
We're like talking about Folktale and MATs, right?
I wouldn't necessarily count Folktale, but maybe.
I guess, yeah. There's not too many. All right. Yeah, I don't want it to end up being more waifu the game. I want it to still be Buddy Fight. If that makes sense.
Next question from chat from Joshua Mark. If you were forced to stick with one buddy in Buddy Fight, who would you choose? You go first.
Choose only one?
Yep.
5th Omni Drumster.
Which one?
Oh, you're right. I gotta pick between like 5. Newest one, 5th Omni Magnum. right? Or is it Mangum? Whatever.
I have no idea. Mugen?
Mugen. There we go. That's right.
So I'm going to choose...
Daddy Die?
Oh, gee, it's so hard for me to choose. I'm going to choose Fervent Demon Lord Teacher Osmodai, because...
Oh, interesting.
Gotta let the memes live on, and that's the current buddy for my Osmodai deck, so... though if I had enough copies of the SP, it would definitely be Art of Body Duplication Osmodai.
Are you sure it wouldn't be, if you had enough copies, it'd be Continental?
That would be really baller, but...
Someday, right? Someday.
Yeah. Keep it coming with the questions in chat. You guys have been doing a great job. Thank you. Nice comments. I'm going to go back to some of the ones we've been asked in Discord, try and get through those.
You mean that have been asked in Discord, not that we have asked?
I'm going to finish off the Roxas ones. I kind of just arbitrarily picked and chose some. Roxas runs a blog called Buddy Relevant, if you didn't know that. And in that blog, Roxas covers archetypes in Buddy Fight and how you could make them better, including some fan cards. So Roxas wants to know what should, and this is specifically addressed to Dalton, what should be the next archetype covered on Buddy Relevant?
That's going to be hard, because if I got to be real, most of my time spent on the internet is on YouTube. I have to be real. So I definitely have to check out the blog. So I don't know if you've already done this archetype. But I do want to see Plague fleshed out, because obviously they were done so late that it didn't really matter.
I was not asked this question. It was specifically directed at you, but I'm going to ask it or answer it.
Ask it anyway.
I'm going to answer it anyways. Kobolds.
Oh yeah, they never finished either. They
No.
just got the one promo card, and that was it, right?
Kobolds are like one of the best OG archetypes. They're super fun as a budget deck, and they've only gotten one card in the past 4 years.
Or was Roxas wanting me to say traps?
Probably.
It was a trap. So, what's the next question?
Do you think Buddy Fight should stop making attributes? This is from the DBR, from Buddy Fight Ace of Spades.
Why would we stop making attributes? That's my question. Because, like, initial Buddy Fight, like OG, eventually we're going to be like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where we can just say, like, DM or something like that for OG. You kind of had more interesting mechanics just because of attributes, and then they kind of strayed away from it and made it named attributes. So, I don't know. I kind of want to see them keep the attributes in there, because then if you abolish that, then you basically get rid of like Executioners, Guardians, Zwei and Ein and Dry become dead.
I think one of the things that makes Buddy Fight interesting is on a year-to-year basis, you do have a drastic difference in the archetypes that are supported, besides main character.deck, which helps with variety and keeps the game really fresh. Sure, you have some archetypes that are left, at the wayside, sadly. Rest in peace, 72 Pillars. But I think overall it's actually a good thing for Buddy Fight. And plus, that helps Bushiroad move more product, which is a good thing, to keep the game not being covered on our dead card game series.
Yeah, that's true. I want to stay alive. I want to be able to sing that song someday on the channel without it getting strike down.
Roxas asked Jewelry or Frill or Pawn. Pawn.
Wait, who in what?
Jewelry Frill, one of the superheroine cards, or Pawn. Always Pawn.
Which pawn?
The old one.
Hey man, I'm just clarifying, because technically now we have like 3 pawns. Just gotta make
All right.
sure.
This is the ones from our Discord from KB. To Dalton. I'm trying to build the Dragon World Lost World deck, so I think that's Dimension Dragons, right? I'd assume, probably. Do you think it is best that I buy the cards right away, or hope that the hype dies down, then buy the cards so it's a bit cheaper?
Honestly, I don't see Dimensional Dragons being super strong on their own. It's basically going to be get to Lost World as fast as possible. But then again, I'm not sure if you're trying to save for Lost World cards, because those cards will always be expensive. So you're always going to you're going to want to get the Lost ones right away, and you could probably hold off on the Dragon World ones, in my honest opinion.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Get all the Lost World cards as soon as possible. In fact, you should have done it a week ago.
About a week ago.
And the Dimension Dragons themselves in Dragon World don't sweat as much.
I think that's a fair statement.
Especially since I feel a lot of people have the main cards now from the Lost deck, because, I mean, pretty much everyone who is buying them was buying multiples, so they've got plenty of extras, but they're keeping the Lost World stuff.
Right.
Related question, we were asked in chat what we think about the fact that the Lost World special deck was short printed.
It was?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's probably close to being sold out.
First time
thing.
to go to Frost. Let's go.
First thing, not surprised. Pretty much every special deck they have actually released in English has been really short printed. The X-Duel chest was short printed, though not super bad. And the triple buddy box was sold out pretty much on day one.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised, but especially since the Lost World cards appeal to everybody fighter, because they can be used with every single deck. So even if you have no care about Dimension Dragons, which I think is most people, to be honest, you're still getting it for the Lost World cards. It's like if Boucher had said, hey, here's this special set for $30 that only has 30 cards, and they're all generic cards, and they're all staples. Go buy them. People would totally do that, and that's basically what this is.
Just for more money.
Now, the actual price of the Lost World cards in the Dimension Dragon are going to go down as the next set comes out, because some of them are going to be booted out completely. Some of them are going to stay. One or two of them are going to get more expensive, I think, particularly the cards that are one-ofs. And that's it.
Sounds about right. I think you gave probably the best answer for that. I don't think I need to expand on that.
Oh, say something.
Say something?
Yep.
I said something. Is that good enough? Or do you need me to keep stalling?
How would you guys feel about a buddy fight abridged? I do know there's one that was started. I don't know what ever happened to it. Mm-hmm. And I know our good friend Buddy Jacoby has been working on his series. What is it? Buddy Fight Algebra, I want to say.
Yeah, that's right.
But I don't know if that's postponed or discontinued or anything. It's been pretty quiet for a while. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great idea, and I think someone should restart that, probably starting with Ace. And if you do, we're your voice actors.
I could see why. Garbage.
Give me your best voice for Yuga.
For Yuga?
Yep.
Look at me!
Oh, hey guys, I'm the main character. My name's Yuga.
I'm Yuga.
Give him Batman.
My name is Yuga.
Whoa, controversial maybe? Did I have to do one too? I thought you were still on you.
I have no idea.
I was lost. I haven't been playing with sleeves, so I've kind of lost track of myself. Ugh, no, they're getting too stiff now.
Yep.
So what's the next question?
Do we need more generic guard cards to help non-meta decks continue to be viable?
Like, is that from Discord?
Yeah. Like more obstructs and loyalties. And
yes. And the best one would be the counter for obstruct. And by that, I mean, let's get rid of gauge gaining. I think that's going to be another big thing. even though Ace has been like, let's gain all this gauge and never use it.
Just the type of person I am, and this might be really controversial to say, but I'd really like us to get a relevant spell null. That's a generic card.
No, I will not allow. I can't allow that. As much as I wanted it back in the day, I can't. Because then you give access to Dragon World, and that can't happen. Dragon World must be broken in other ways. It cannot be the one, the only.
From Vulcan, thoughts on impact monsters versus impacts?
Impact monsters versus impacts. Impact monsters are probably better for most decks. Mainly because I feel like impacts have been power crept out until X, where net certain Dragon World impact became, oh, it's generic. Let's use it in everything.
I'm going to say I think impact monsters overall have seen a lot more meta success than impacts.
Yeah.
They're always glass cannon cards because of the fact that you're adding more risk to them because they can now be disrupted by, monster destruction type of cards, or their call can be nullified, or just lots of random stuff like that. But even with that, I think they're generally more powerful, and I think you also get a lot more flavor in them besides, oh, here's a stupid big dumb sword that you can use for something.
I like a big dumb sword that does something.
I also think impact monsters make perfect legacy support for decks, and I'm happy if they come back in force.
Okay, fair enough. Still waiting on that Crimson Battler one, but, that's the point.
Gonna read another one from Vulcan. Should they errata Flarefang and cards similar to him to lose their once per turn? No.
What they should do is errata all the cards that don't have once per turn that are like Flarefang to give them once per turn, because it's stupid.
Like my boy Daipan.
Yes. Or like the size 0. I have it right here. I know I do. Quick Wit. There we go.
Vulcan says we should get a spell null that's generic, but it has overturn.
Give me a design of it, and then I'll think about it.
Rowan Meyer. I'm sorry. I asked, how can I set fire to a house with trading cards?
You're going to need to find a magnifying glass. You might need, maybe some matches might be a little bit better than the magnifying glass. Let's be real here. And make sure you have a boatload of trading cards. And this is very controversial, and we should stop talking about this.
2 comments. 1, TCG Buzz does not condone arson. 2, that is just a waste of perfectly good trading cards.
And 3, not everyone can be Gambit, baby.
Oh.
No? Nothing?
You said, I thought you were talking about the card.
Wasn't.
I know. That's why I was confused. Keeping on coming, guys. I'm looking through our Discord right now. Chat's kind of empty of them right now. So, should G Evo only be once per turn?
No. Mainly for the fact then you'd have to somehow balance out D-share. Because D-share would technically be around that same standard.
I think the only consequence of that is you take Dragon World Gargantuas and make them unplayable in the meta because they lose their OTK status. And then,
if anything, what you should do is make it to where you had to play it to be a Dragod from a different world. So you can't, in a sense, my initial variant of OTK Gargantua Dragons, that eventually we'll get a deck profile out for, where you just run start deck, the Ace Rare, and then you're like, okay, let's hope to spam out for no gauge.
We've gotten several questions of about Lost World and our thoughts on it kind of in general, but mostly about how it's too strong. And I just kind of want to rant about that for a minute. I don't think Lost World's too strong. I think competitively, Lost World's really balanced. And part of it you have to understand is it's limited by the fact that your flag is a 2 of, right? And its timing is at the end of your opponent's turn, which there have been plenty of times where I've play tested and I've got the Lost World in hand and still can't use it because my opponent's won by then. I think its timings make it quite fair. And plus the fact that you still have to reliably draw into your Lost World cards. So Lost World itself is actually, as far as meta buddy fight goes, really slow. Excuse me, really slow. It's very slow for buddy fight. And that's fine for decks that can handle that. But also I think it's fair because, again, every deck can use it. And sure, that's going to incentivize decks to do so, but that's okay. It just adds more deck building strategy. Also, the cards that people like to point out as being really broken really aren't. Particularly that 80,000 power 8 crit one is a terrible card that's never going to see play because it has no protection whatsoever and is just going to get blown up or rested or bounced or anything, and it is like the definition of a casual card. Yeah. Also, might be controversial, but I think the counter your opponent discards 2 cards from their hand card is not very good in most decks. Obviously, I play it in Godpunks because that's the main strategy of the deck. But if you're into Lost World already, you don't want to just use something that minuses your opponent a little. Because, 1, they can get that advantage back real quick these days. 2, at that point, you'd rather just have a card that wins you the game.
Interesting. I really don't have anything on Lost World. It's still a little too soon. Want to get the feel of the actual Lost World cards into my hands to kind of see how I stand on it. But as of right now, it's more just being teched in as, I can, I guess. Like I have like an extra 2 spots. Let's just throw it in, see what happens. And most of the time, Lost World decks are going to look the same too. So,
at least in the beginning, they are. A lot of people are talking now about our comments on Lost World, and really I don't think Lost World's that bad. And someone made the argument of the fact that they're going to shut out new players. No, I don't think so. Looking at it from other perspectives, from other card games, when Vanguard introduced its G units, that didn't immediately shut out new players or old players or anyone. Everyone just adapted. And it was a really smooth transition at first, and then Bushiroad messed it up later. We'll see what happens with Lost World with that. Looking at Yu-Gi-Oh!, every time they introduce a new mechanic, there's a slow burn to it. They don't just immediately become crazy. It takes a little while.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
With the exception of, like, Firewall Dragon, I guess. Maybe Bear Load. But the point is, people adapt, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I think, it's really easy to look at it that way right now, but I think people are going to look back a year or 2 from now and laugh and say it was no big deal.
Let's hope so. I actually have nothing else to say to that. I think you covered that one.
I think part of it is the big numbers scare people. When you see a monster with 6 crit or 8 crit or 5 crit penetrate,
if big
whatever.
numbers scared people, then Hagakugan would be meta.
Exactly. I think coming from one of my mini card game backgrounds being Yu-Gi-Oh, one of the biggest things you can learn from Yu-Gi-Oh is that attack points, or in this case critical and power, don't matter.
It's mainly going to be effects. And technically, crit still matters because, let's be real, dual golems are still a thing. They're a crit matter deck.
Also, I'm getting yelled at by Roxas because I called it Barrelode and it's Borrelode Dragon. So I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I didn't catch that. I typically tune out Jacob. So I missed it. So what's the next question?
We're actually running low on questions.
Check chat.
I'm checking. Dalton asked a question.
Why aren't you checking chat?
I'm looking. You ask a question of TCG Buzz.
Of TCG. Does TCG Buzz plan to do anything with Buddy Fight area?
Do they?
That's directed towards you, sir.
Oh. Oh. Should have specified, man. I had no idea who that person
You're also TCG Buzz. I asked
am?
the question.
Yeah, so I like using Buddy Fight Area, and I want to do more with it. Buddy Fight Area is a fun program. It's a little hectic sometimes just because you have to keep it up to date and whatnot. So it's a little extra workload, but it's really like not a big deal whatsoever. It's just finding time sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Problem. I'd love to do more live streams with it, and I'm trying to work out, in my head, the best way to do that. We've done once before a live stream just playing against each other with some experimental decks, which was pretty fun. But we had some technical difficulties. Mm-hmm. Those aren't going to be a problem anymore, so I guess it's just whenever we feel like it.
Knock on wood.
Oh.
Because you can never be...
Live stream immediately crashes. What do we think of Blood Dragons?
They're bloody.
First thing I said when I saw the first 2 card reveal, it was 2 cards, right? Maybe 3, when they were first leaked in Koro, was, man, that is such a Bryce deck. I was correct.
I guess.
I don't think they're going to be super relevant with their first wave of support. Not just because that tends to happen with first wave supports, but because they're a defensive deck. Defensive decks typically need a few sets of support to really get going. Look at Prism Dragons. Just a good example. Look at, I don't know, would you count Onis?
No. Because Onis were topping right away when they came out.
Yeah. They're going to have some hard counters against them, much like a lot of decks in Ace do. There are certain decks, Folktale is a great example, where there are some blatantly hard, crazy counters to them. But if you can just average it out in a tournament sense, that if only 1 out of 5 players is able to do that, you've still got a good chance of topping.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Blood, whatever they're called now,
Blood Eye Division, or
whoever sect, whatever their name is, I think they're going to do fine. Not super meta broken, not this deck is worthless to build for meta play. Now, if you want a deck like that, you're looking at Blade Dancers.
Sure. We'll go with that. We'll go with that response there. Even though I don't agree about the whole Blade Dancers things, but that's besides the point.
What do you think about Chaos Lost World?
It's chaotic and it's lost.
I did fight against a Chaos Lost World deck piloted by our friend Gavin. And it's a little messy because you're dealing with 3 different flags in a deck, but the deck works pretty fine.
In my opinion, Chaos players aren't going to be running it because they're going to have Infinite the Chaos, and they're going to want to keep that out. And Lost World's just going to ruin that for them. And they can hold their own without it. Which hopefully a lot of people are going to see about that as well, where Lost World's not going to be in every deck because some of the decks can be like, yo, I don't need this. Like, I can survive. Like MATs. Next question.
I'm going to summarize the hell out of this question. I'm going to visualize it for you. That's the question. Thanks, Roxas. You good?
Summarize away, sir.
So summarize of Roxas's book. You can read it on our Discord if you'd like. Talking about Lost World again and how basically any ace deck can out it, but older decks might not be able to. Do you think that older decks should have more added to them for speed, or should, they just make newer decks affordable as possible? I think it's a combination of the two. One, I want to see more generic staples given to, different worlds. Two, obviously, I want to see new archetypes get support. But three, and I don't know if we can ever do like a full video on this. It's kind of hard to put into words, but I've noticed a trend of Bushiroad recently recycling old deck concepts into new archetypes, like full retrains with a different archetype, similar concept. Great example would be Ride Changers to Battle Buildings. Another would be Blood Boys to Raging Spirits. Those are the two I can think of off the top of my head. I guess Blade Dancers kind of have some Japanese blade feel to them. I think that's a good way to go about it, is saying, hey, sure, your old deck might not be relevant anymore, but here's a new deck that plays kind of similar that would be really easy for you to convert to.
I don't think older decks have a problem with Lost World. Because Lost World's not going to be the problem. It's going to be more of the main deck that they have to face. Because Lost World, yeah, they're cute, but you can play 50,000 Dragon Shield deck if you really wanted to. And potentially deck them out. Something like that. And then you also have Mill that can mill them out. So I don't know. I guess to each their own. But I don't see old decks. Yes, I would love to see support for older decks and newer archetypes get support, but I don't feel like it needs to be a major push.
I don't know. There are very few card games out there where every deck will stay relevant. There will always be decks that are just too slow or don't get enough support. Some decks will, fall to the wayside. But in the same regard, any game that doesn't focus on rotation, like, say, Pokemon, you will have legacy decks that come back. Yu-Gi-Oh's got the evergreen deck that's Blue Eyes, for example. Dark Magician comes back every now and then. Neos is pretty good right now. That's ridiculous. Looking at Vanguard, I remember when 7 Seas were played again. That was kind of crazy. Night Mist got some play during G. My brain's not working. Seekers even. Jewel Knights, I want to say. I haven't played Vanguard in a while. No. Do you guys think we'll get more support for 100 Demons ever?
We better. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I don't think so. Not for quite a while. I think X gave them some pretty decent support. And even the support that wasn't good was multiple. No. He's trying to throw beams at me.
Back off 100 Demons.
The point is, 100 Demons have always been a very low priority for Bushiroad. Instead, they'd rather give their legacy support to Dragon Zwei and to Thunder Empire and to Jackknife Dragon.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last word. What was that?
Dragon?
Oh, I thought you said something else. No? Do we have any more questions, or should we look to wrap it up?
Should we kill all dragons?
No, I want to train them.
I mean, I have a dragon token right here. We can just like...
Why would you do that? That was a decent life counter.
I didn't actually do anything to it. It's safe. It's safe. No dragons were harmed in the making of this live stream. So No, dragons are fine, and there are some great dragon attributes in each of the dragon worlds, and even in the non-dragon worlds. Remember, Ancient World still has dragons in it. Sure, Bushiroad loves their dragons, and they are over-supported sometimes, but there's a lot of good that comes with them. Now, it would be fun to see like retrains of some of the old dragon hate cards, just to see what they do in a modern
just
meta.
To have more hate cards in general. Instead of just focus on dragons.
Haters gonna hate.
Don't reference that singer ever again. Just don't. It's horrible. It's horrible.
All right. I think with that, we're going to leave it off here. Sorry if we missed one of your questions, guys. We answered as many as we could, I think.
Yeah.
So we're going to roll into Dalton outroing.
Make sure to subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss out when we go live or upload anything. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord so you can be part of our next Q&A or even just get into the fan art type deal. I already said join our Discord. I already said follow on Instagram. What else is there?
Surprise announcement. Pretty much as soon as this live stream is going to be finished, meaning live when we're doing it, there will be a new video uploaded besides this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So check that out. It's one that Dalton and I had a lot of fun making.
And check out our shop. All links will be in the description down below. Jacob, any final words to the peoples?
Thanks for submitting your questions and hanging out with us in chat.
And above all else, stay classy, y'all.
Thanks for listening to TCG Buzz. New episodes can be found on tcgbuzz.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For box openings, deck profiles, and more, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.